there were women who wanted to get more involved and had tried to make some inroads, and it just wasn't working very well. And so this opportunity coming from Bill Koch, oh my gosh, you know, I have so much gratitude for him as the creative man that he is. And I'm so grateful that the America's Cup is so controversial, because obviously in '92, when he was competing and he won, and he ran into all these frustrations, like you know, everybody has at top levels of sports, all the politics, and he decided not to compete again. And in that in that breath, he created an opportunity for some women to bring their dream to him, which he decided to back. To bring in this thing from left field, like the Jamaican bobsled team, you know, that was us. And so a lot of people love to root for the underdog. And so there was that, but there was also this factor of women being allowed in the sport that really exponentially increased the curiosity. And we're in that time where, as we know now, you know, women are coming up and wanting more space in the conversation, and we got part of that.
I grew up sailing and had never really thought of the America's Cup as what I would want to do. I always thought the Olympics or the Whitbread, but never really the America's Cup. And when that opportunity presented itself, it was amazing. No one really knew what to expect. There were people who didn't think we'd be able to get the boat around the course. There were people who had no idea, because it wasn't done the traditional way. It wasn't the traditional way to build a crew, where you just get who you know who you want, you hire who you want, and you go that route. It was much more about picking a team to build together. So you didn't necessarily take people who were initially that familiar with large boats, with big boats and big boat sailing. You took dinghy sailors, and you had rowers, and you had weightlifters, and you built the team from different people. When we started racing, we'd worked so hard and put in a lot of hours to get there. And just to get the boat to the start line and go racing and, you know, be competitive was just, you looked at yourself and went, all right, all those hours spent training, they count.
Went well beyond what people thought, and it was a great feeling. We ran up to quite a few obstacles which we had to overcome, but I think it just made us stronger in every instance. We just had a great experience. So I was a rower, and there was actually 8 of us from the '92 Olympic team. I was training for the '96 Olympic team in Virginia. I did receive a call, and someone said, "You want to go try out for the America's Cup in San Diego?" And it was in between trials, so I said, yes, absolutely. So I went and tried out. I was in the second tryout. We had 3 tryouts of 20 people in each tryout. I believe they had 2,000 applications, and I was one of the fortunate ones that made the team. That was a tough choice for me, because I had to give up my dream of winning a gold medal in the Olympics to making history in a sport that I wasn't very familiar with. So I think, of course, we had our challenges, and a lot of people thought, and rightly so, as we didn't have the time on the water or in these boats to be able to compete with the competitors that we faced.
So for me, I kind of come into it at a different angle, where I was just graduating college. I was rowing, and you know, my mom was the one who sort of read the article in the New York Times that, you know, Bill Koch was fielding this all women's team. he had kind of identified a core group of girls to kind of kick off the program, some of which were rowers, like Olympic level rowers, to help kind of generate some of that interest too around that grinding position. And so for me, I kind of had a bit of a profile to be able to kind of fit that position based on my rowing background, my athletic background, and just my general sailing background. But so it was kind of an interesting way to get into it, where it's not something I looked towards my whole life as sort of my ultimate athletic achievement, but in the end it was one of my ultimate athletic achievements. I think being part of this historic campaign really I think was kind of a priceless moment in my life, where sports were such an important part, and I think being able to really demonstrate that women can compete side by side with men I think was kind of at its core what it was, but I think too just being able for myself to kind of excel in another sport I think was also just something too very rewarding for me, and I think being able to kind of say with pride the campaign that I was a part of and the team that I was a part of, and all of the totally outstanding women that I sailed with and worked out with and spent time with, just the legacy that has kind of carried on around women being able to kind of compete at high levels and being able to take on men and being able to do kind of the same challenges, and and I think that's been an important message, and especially as I'm raising my own two kids, to be able to say that you can do that, and here we sort of did that.